Number one, everybody knows the importance of being a listing agent. Okay, I've been a listing agent myself for a very long time. Not a very long time, 4 or 5 years. And the listing obviously has more value, even if you're working with tenants or you're working with buyers. Your goal in this career is to establish your business with only listing. My percentage right now, I am probably 90% on the listing side, 10% on the buyer side. And most of my buyers is because I'm doing both sides. You know, I'm not saying that there is no money with the buyers, but the listings are top, okay? These listing presentations that I'm going to be sharing, it was not given to me by Orlando. It was not given to me by anybody. This is something that I have been building up and what I do on my daily basis for my listings. I go from 3 to 4 listing presentations every week. So I'm always learning from the listing what to do and what not to do, okay? So the number one that we're going to be talking about is going to be the initial contact with the prospect seller. I mean, 2 things happens when you get contact by a seller. Either they call you, you know, they send you an email, or you call them. Hey, this guy wants to sell the property, go ahead and call them, okay? The first thing, the best one is the one when you're calling the person. Because when you engage the phone conversation, you want to have as much knowledge information about the property as you can. Why? Because the more knowledge you have, you can focus on what the seller is looking for. For example, the initial contact might happen by phone or by email. They might send you an email, call you, you might want it, let's say for example, I call Finol, y le digo, Finol, I want to sell my property. You know, you might want to, if you don't know the person, you don't know the unit number, you don't know what they're calling for, you might want to find out what property are they selling and why they're selling for, and try to schedule a meeting with them. If they're not local, you want to be able to schedule a phone conversation with them and whoever is making decisions on the property, okay? Oh, the other one that I told you, you might be contacting the seller to ask for this. You calling the person, and I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but for some people works. Or you calling them because they ask you they want to sell. Never over email. Meaning that when they send you an email, hey, I want to sell you property, I want you to respond, how much can you get for my property, how much can you do? You don't want to do that over email. You want to talk to the person. You want to try to set up a phone call, you know, because you want to hear what the person is thinking. Hey, I want to sell you property. I'm charging 6%. This, that. If you don't hear what the person is thinking, if you don't hear what the person is feeling, it's very hard for you. Most of the time, if you do it by email only, like you respond to the email that they send you, they might go silent on you and they might not respond, okay? Important. When you set up the phone conversation, let's say that you talk, I call Claudia. Claudia, I want to sell my property. Claudia said, Nivaldo, I'm in a meeting. Can I call you back in a couple of hours? Why? Because Claudia doesn't know about my property, anything. She doesn't even know the unit number. But she wants to, before she set up the callback number, she wants to find out what is the property. Because when she finds out about the property, what do? You have to focus the conversation, most likely. Sometimes you're able to see if the property is listed. Because maybe that person is calling you, but the property is already listed with someone else. Okay? So that is an information that you might want to know. So, first of all, you go to IMAP. That's what I always do. IMAP. I want to see, for example, this property is the unit 406 in Mason Grande. Okay? I know the last time she bought the property was for $330,000. So when I'm calling the person back, I already have an idea of how much is the property worth. You understand? Is this property right now is worth probably $310 according to my idea? You know, that person might be upside down. So from the beginning of the conversation, you want to make sure that she's willing to lose money. It's just a matter of how much. You understand? So that gives you a lot of what the history was, how much they pay for the property. Okay. The other thing that you want to go on the MLS. You want to see the history of the MLS. Why? Because even if the property is not listed, it was listed with someone at some point. And you see the price that they tried to get before. Let's say the same property, the 330, this same unit 406, at some point that property was listed for $400,000, and that property is not listed for $400,000, okay? And it was listed with another agent, okay? So it's important that you do your research before you call the person, and I'm going to touch that back. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more in the part where it says when you prepare for your presentation. Okay, very important. First conversation, you might want to know. You want to know about what property you're talking about. If you're the one calling the client, they say, "Hey, this person in this house in Treasure Island wants to sell. She's expecting your call." Before you make that call, you may want to come here. Okay. Because like that, you're more prepared for the conversation, okay? That's the first point, guys. Any questions?
Yeah, what happens if the property is listed?
We're going there. We're getting there. That's a good question, but we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. Okay. So now, let's go to this is the initial conversation, okay? This is getting prepared. Now, we go to the next section, is the how to get prepared for your presentation. When you're getting prepared for the presentation, let's say, for example, the person, when you have that phone conversation, you say, well, I'm not gonna call you back, but you can pass by my unit and take a look at your property, okay? That is getting prepared for the presentation. You need to get prepared, you need to know about the property more than the seller. You need to know about the area more than the seller. Okay, have you ever been buying something, a car or something, and you have the feeling that you know more than the person that is selling to you? That's the way, if you're not prepared for the presentation, that's the way the seller feels with you. Remember, in the presentation, you're selling confidence. Yeah. You don't have confidence, you don't have knowledge. And knowledge is very easy to get. It's a few steps. We have a lot of tools that we can do. Number one, we go again and we look at the property history in the MLS. Okay? Look at the property history in the MLS. How many times has that person tried to sell it? Is the person has been trying to, is Christian has been renting the unit for the last 3 years, and now they're calling me to sell the unit. At some point, something happened with Christian. It's just an example, okay? And you want to know that. You want to focus the conversation on that, because that is the big problem. Believe it or not, they're calling you because they don't want to call him, okay? And something happened. And most of the time, it's not Christian's fault. It's the seller's fault. You understand? But you don't want to say that. You don't want to tell the seller, it's your fault. Christian was right, because they're not going to list with you. They're not going to like you either. Okay? So you got to choose your size. Number two, look at the profile of the current or former listing agent. Okay? This is very important. If you see that the property is listed with someone, okay, you want to look up that person. You want to get that person's license number, and you want to see how much business that person has been doing for the last 6 months. Okay? Why? Because if I find someone that, for example, someone new with the license, Joanna. Joanna is listed. Yes, Joanna is the listing agent. Guess what I'm going to talk about in the presentation?
Experience.
Joanna doesn't have an experience. Okay? And listen, it's about perception. It's how you focus the conversation on what they need. If they're calling you and they listed with Joanna, why your property not selling? You may see that the property is overpriced, but the price is not the problem for the seller. At that moment, the problem is Joanna. The price, eventually they will start lowering the price. But you gotta focus the conversation, because that's the problem with Joanna. Okay? Number two, what happens is I found a listing agent with a lot of listings. Okay? So you know that might be a problem with the seller, but how do you win a competition against a top listing agent? Any idea?
Efforts.
No.
Efforts.
How do I explain you that Anita is selling 30 units a year, and I'm selling only 3? How do you explain Anita and I'm selling only 3? How do I explain you that I'm going to do a better job than Anita?
You have more time.
How more time? Anita's too busy. Anita's too busy.
I'll call you back.
No, even if she's not, Anita's too busy. Okay, and that's how you win the conversation.
Yeah.
It's I go and I see that the Jews are going to be the other one going with, again, my listing, and I start going to tell them, hey, this is the only time that you're going to see the Jews is going to be in the listing presentation. That's the same thing is going to happen with me, probably. But that's the way you win it.
Yeah, it's like the weak points. You gotta
Yeah,
find the weak
the weak point. You gotta look for like a good point, Rita. You gotta pick the weak point. Prepare a CMA. I don't prepare my CMAs. Claudia does it. So if you have any questions, you can talk to Claudia.
To Claudia.
Okay, but I know my CMAs and most of the areas that I work. I probably know the price by memory, but she always prepare. I will bring a CMA. I will prepare myself with a
Yeah,
CMA.
that's-
What is the price? You want to have a price on mind, okay? Learn about the building or area. You understand? If you're selling a property, a single family home in Norway Village, okay, you need to know how many properties active for sale. How many properties active were sold? Okay? What's the average sales price per square foot? Who are the top agents? Okay? Why? Because if you come into an area, remember that person is thinking about selling. He's already doing the homework. He knows what's going on. You understand? He knows what's going on. For example, if I ask Christian and I tell Christian how many properties active for sale in the 360?
26,
26. How many properties in the building?
414.
414. So Christian knows, okay, what he's talking about. And you gotta show that knowledge in the presentation. You gotta say, hey, out of the 27 active units for sale, and 440 units in the building, you know, this is how much the average sales price per square footage in the year 2020. That was $260. Okay, but you tell them, you have to show that knowledge because, I mean, remember, they hired an expert. Who are the top agents? Why do you want to know who the top agents? Because that's the other person that they're going to interview. Most likely they're going to talk to that person. Highly. I just went against a guy on Surfside. The guy is a top agent in Surfside. I got the listing. I don't know how, but I got the listing. And then I look up the guy. I say, I would be the seller. I would have hired this guy instead of the other one. But you got to look at the top agent because those top agents most likely are going to be your competition.
Yeah.
And number two is the history of the history of the Toyo Island. You know how much of the property sold, how many times he tried to sell. If he currents on taxes. Because sometimes you see that the person does not paying taxes, you might want to focus the conversation with what is going to happen if you don't sell soon and you don't take care of the taxes, you're going to have problems, you're going to go into foreclosure. And you have to get all your marketing material, everything that you do. For example, people that are here with South Florida Investment, you can ask me for the marketing material that we use and you can adjust it to you and I can help you with that, you know. But it's important this, your marketing material. Because guess what? At your presentation, they're going to ask you how you're different. Okay, and that's one of the things that's going to be you on top. Okay. So very important, guy. Like for example, if you see, let's say, if I'm selling in the building, I get a listing appointment for a unit at the 360. I don't know, Joanna, you never been, oh, you've been too many times. Okay. But Kev, you go to the 360. You never got a listing on it, but you live at the 360. Let me find someone here. Yo, you go to the 360. You might want to go to the condo plans and find out the floor plan of the building. You may want to be in the floor plan of the building with you, because when you're discussing the CMA, especially in the building, you gotta show them the location of the unit.
Right.
You understand? And you gotta show them why your unit, because they're gonna ask you, hey, why are they asking for this unit for $400,000? And you say, mine is only $330. Without the floor plan, it's very hard for you to explain. Okay, so you have to find the floor plan of the building. And most of them are available on Condo Maps. Okay, any question how to prepare for the presentation?
Two questions. Okay, it happened to me that I haven't found the map on the condo plan. How do I find
Well,
it?
Kelly, what I usually do is it's not in my condo plans. It's a very old building.
It is, yeah. I've been familiar with it very well.
Oh.
Okay. And the other
You
question.
eventually will find it.
Okay.
Maybe not be updated, but you eventually. Or what I usually do is I look at units that are, like for example, I go and I say I'm going to a unit that is located on line 15, and I go and I do a search. If they're not active, they were active at some point. And I see that, for example, line 15 is facing the water. And I see that line 12 is now facing the water. And I try to do that. It's an extra work, but it will show you a lot of knowledge.
Sometimes on the condo docs you can see it too, and you can get the condo docs on the poly registry.
Okay. Oh.
Or the office, right?
Yeah, but remember, you go into a listing presentation at the one office, the main office.
Yeah, I mean, no.
You might not have access, or you might not have time to go to the
But Google
or,
has everything.
or if you
Yeah, I
go,
mean, I use Google.
I use Google.
yeah, but sometimes it's in the public record. But for example, if you go to an office right now, if I go to the 360 right now, I'm a realtor, I don't know anybody in the building. I'm gonna say, can you give me the condo docs of the condominium? They're not. They're gonna take it right
But
now.
they can give you the floor plan, just the floor plan, right?
It will take time. It's just not gonna give you enough time. You understand? Because remember, this is you're preparing for the presentation. This guy it has to be quick because you know that seller went out for dinner that night with her friend and happened to know that her friend has a real estate agent and he's signing the contract right there. Now he takes the real estate agent that is friend that he already signed with you. There's nothing she can do. Okay, so you have to do quick. So remember, you may have a couple of hours for this between the conversation and the presentation. So you gotta go fast, you know. Okay.
Niva,
Dime.
one question, sorry. How
No, no
do you-
problem, no
How do
problem.
you find out who are the top agents on the area?
Matrix.
No, I know, but how do you filter that? I don't know how
Like,
to
do you
filter
sort it or you just?
Well, what happens is, let's say you do a search
Okay.
of the unit sell, and the unit's active for sale, and the unit sold. It's gonna come up a list.
And they have that.
You add listing agent
And that's it.
or selling agent, and then you sort it right there.
Okay.
Remember, it's gonna be one with 3, one with 2, one with 1, and that's how you sort it.
Okay.
And you already know
You
those
can
names.
say and press the
Yeah.
same.
Okay? This is the same property address that I spoke to you about it. This is what I told you about the condo plans. It's very important for my condo plans. For example, if you go to the Acquire condominiums, right there, without you knowing, you don't have to Google, you know that the Acquire condominium have 385 units. Sometimes this might not be accurate. For example, the 360, the building B, the locations on line of 7 and 9 are wrong.
Okay.
You have like converted, like you have units at Akoya that are put together, so that changes. the
Yes,
plan?
that's changed. They changed the floor plan because they put together, but they go from the floor above. But this is very accurate. I mean, you know, for example, there's 385 units active in the building. You know that it's 5% active inventory. You know that 23 active listings. You know that in the last 3 months, six units were sold, and in the last 6, 11. So I give you a good knowledge about the building. You understand? When was the building built?
Yeah.
Okay? And this in the presentation show you because people want to know that you know what you're talking about. They don't want to hear the whole speech about my company, my marketing. When your unit gets some top, it gets to the all searching. They already heard that. Or most of the agents that are going to go see them, they're going to tell them that. Okay? You want to be different, and that's what's going to give you the listing. Also, here you have the floor plan, the building. You know this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the floor plan. So when you go to a building that you're not familiar, you're not sure, you bring the floor plan. Or sometimes you want to bring it so you can explain them the way the units are located. Okay. Okay. Let's go. What do I bring to my presentation and why? Okay. This is what I usually do for my presentation. Anita knows this because Anita, it was now Jimena. He was usually the one that would prepare the listing package for me. This is something that is a standard, and you gotta have it ready because the listings come up, and I call Anita or Jimena and say, "Get me a listing package ready."
Yeah, like 2
And
hours.
I'm there 2 hours. Get me a listing package ready. I go pick it up, and I'm on the car. Get it ready for the listing. You understand? Number one, a listing agreement signed by you. I see so many agents going to a listing presentation without a listing agreement. You gotta bring it with you. Most of the time they don't sign it at the closing, but they keep it, they review it, but you wanna have it ready. You wanna have a listing agreement. You cannot go to a listing presentation without a listing agreement, okay?
You already have the price that you want to put on the agreement, or do you leave that blank?
I usually leave it blank.
Like,
I leave it blank because you don't want, unless you
Right,
talk
right.
to a price. But if you already talk to a price, then the listing presentation is different. Okay, remember, when there's 2 ways. Sometimes you get a call from a buyer, from a seller, and they're already gonna choose you. So they calling you to discuss pricing, but they already made the decision about choosing you. That one you wanna get the listing agreement right away to them electronically to sign it. You understand? But this is you're being called for a presentation. That most likely they're going to interview another agent. Okay? They're thinking about it. So listing agreement signed by you. That's super important. Number two, again, look at the profile of the current listing agent. Okay? Where's that here? Okay. The profile of the listing agent. What I say is that the same profile, if you find out that the property is listed with someone else, you want to bring and show them that that agent doesn't have any listing or that the agent has too many listings. Show it to them. Guys, it's a problem. Most of the time,
It's a competition.
you can be selling a property of $300,000 for $500,000. And when the sellers is always going to blame the agent, even if the property is overpriced. Always going to blame the agent.
Yeah.
If the property doesn't rent,
707.
it's us. You understand? It's us. It happens like that. Okay? It doesn't change. Most of the time, they're gonna blame you. Okay? So if the property is listed, the property hasn't sold because the agent, not because I haven't found a buyer. I have found so many little sellers that they understand that process. CMA, you bring it with you, very important. Floor plan of the building, as explained before. Marketing material. And I'm gonna go to the marketing material now, so you can see, and then I go back here. Okay, let me go. I'm gonna show you the marketing material I use, okay? Marketing material, postcard, everything that you do, bring it. Everything that you do that is different, okay? Don't bring an email from Sync. They probably receive 20 emails from Sync every day. Honestly, yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Shots fired.
No, that's true. The problem is with those type of platforms, they sell for a lot of companies. And you know, those people already talk to 4 people, those people, I add them to Sync and they battle Sync. You understand? And that's the problem. That doesn't make a difference. Okay? Marketing material. Sellers Guide magazine. Guys,
That's our new magazine, by the
Yes.
way.
if you go to a seller,
2020.
if you go to a seller and you tell him that you write books on how to sell properties, believe me, that get you in the door.
Yeah.
Okay? That will get you in the door. We have, for the agents here in South Florida, I can give you one that you can adjust to your name and everything, okay? So you can bring it with you. It's not giving you my business card, this is my magazine, okay?
Should you offer incentives when you're getting a listing or never?
It depends. It depends. If I'm starting to gain, that's
It depends, exactly.
that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Let's say for example, I'm trying to get into a new market. I would offer incentive. I would say, you know, I sell you a property, I charge you less. Let's say for example, everybody's selling for 6, you offer 5. But you have to, when you offer that, it's not that you're gonna go to the market and put 2.5 and 2.5. Because then a leasing mill like you will call you with the listing when it sees that. I'm gonna tell you, hey, she offered you an incentive, but she's hurting the traffic of your units. Okay, so when you offer that, you say, you know what, I'll take 2. I put 3 for the buyer's agent. You know, because that's the first thing they're gonna, most of the agents that are going after listings that are acting and expired, they look at that.
They look at that.
Okay?
But one question. When you do that one, when you do the incentive, it's better you say, I got to charge you the 3% and 3%, but I got to give you 1% in the closing.
Okay, that's fine.
Because
Fake.
what I thinking, what's happened to me, when you say, you already say, okay, I got to give you 2%,
Uh-huh.
they already you, like I say in Spanish, ya te le estás abriendo como que puedes conseguir menos.
Okay, that's a good important point. And I usually do that with the buyers, but that's a very smart idea. You say, if you close 1 week close, I'll give you a point of closing.
Yeah, I go give you the discount, 1% discount, but I give you in the closing.
I'll give you a closing. That's a very smart idea, and I would definitely consider for my marketing. It's very good. No, it's very
That's
good.
good over here.
Yeah, but when you talk with the people, especially Venezuelan people, when you already talk with the people and say, you'll do the presentation, then in some points, you tell, okay, I got to give you an incentive, you whatever you want to say. They are ready, if you tell you to go discount, they're ready to tell you, well, you give me 1.5.
Okay. No, but the problem is you have to see in the places that you go. For
Exactly.
example, you're gonna buy in a condominium, most likely in a condominium is 6%, it's 3 and 3. But if you go a listing presentation on a house on Southwest, all the listings in Southwest, they offer 2.5 or 2%, I seen it with 1%.
I see the 1%.
So don't go with a 6% to house, especially a house that is sold by itself. Because the house over there is sells by itself. If you tell me right now that you're gonna give me 20 houses, I only gonna make 1%, okay, I'll take it. Because I'm gonna sell them right away. You understand? And this industry is about the conversion rate. I don't wanna sell one house and make $200,000. I wanna sell 20 and make $500,000. You know, that's the conversion rate, okay? Because remember, those listings will generate buyers, okay? And that's what you want. You want a free buyers, incoming buyers to you. You understand? So you can increase your business. Okay? Very important. Something that I bring to my eyes. This is key. And this is what we take. You have, I'm assuming you have a database. You do?
Like drive.
Oh.
Tired.
Okay. You have a database. Guys, what about if you bring to the presentation a list of people that might be interested in looking at the property? Of course, without the contact information. You tell the buyer, I'm bringing a list of people that might be interested in buying the property.
Yeah, look up the back, like here it is.
You know, those are the names. You understand? Without the information. What about if I bring them a list of the people that I have sold the property in the last 2 years? And I said, listen, I'm not telling you that I'm good. Call those people.
Yeah.
What do you
Part of
think?
your background.
It's your confidence, it's your background. Call them. And they're gonna call and say, hey, I know Christian, hey, he did a great job. You know, he sold my property very hard. You know, that's giving confidence because someone else that it doesn't have any conflict of interest is telling them. You understand? So either buyers or a list of sellers. That is very, very, very important. Any questions on this part on how to, what to bring to the presentation? No?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Go to the next. Two. List of sellers that I bring. This is what I spoke to you before. Got it? All of them?
I'm not generate from this.
I have it for every place. I have it for every place. You understand? Yeah. But you can put people from the association if you know a building. They know you. You understand? That's why I always tell people, if you work in a building, never pick a fight with the association. Even if they run.
Never.
Even if they run. Because remember, every seller goes through there. Number 2, marketing material. Weekly marketing report, postcards that I send. You know, that's what I bring in to the presentation. Well, how am I different? Show me your marketing material. Open house, just listed, postcards, personalized letters. I send a letter with a new listing to every single homeowner that lives in the area. Hey, I'm the listing agent. I want you to know that property is for sale. That also, what also can generate? It can generate listings.
Of course.
Handwritten letter. Hey, my friend, I'm listing the house on 7535 Adventure Avenue. Okay, I want you to know before anybody else that this property is for sale. I want you to choose your neighbor before I do. And that's a source of lead too.
Yeah.
Look how many things I've showed you. Just listed emails with the same thing that it says in the letter. Social media. If you know areas and look at Norway Village, I know there's a group in Norway Village. I can put something there. How do I show that I'm the right agent for the job? You're already on the presentation. Either over the phone, or in person, one-to-one. The first thing you do is you listen, and you listen, okay? Because you want to know, it's not about you, it's about them and what they need. What is the problem? They have a problem with pricing. They have a problem with the current listing agent, okay? They have maybe you don't have to discuss pricing. They're okay with pricing. Maybe you don't have to discuss why to list with you or not. You understand? So that's why you have to listen, because then at the end, 20 minutes pass by and you realize that none of that you said is a problem to them.
Yeah.
They're looking for something else. That's why you gotta listen on the phone and in person. Number 2, again, you have to talk about this, if the property is listed, you have to focus the conversation on what happened with the listing and why it's not selling and why you can do better than that person, because that's the only thing they want to know. Okay, that is the only thing. I have go to listing presentation. The half of the listing presentation is the seller complaining about the current listing agent. Okay, they don't care about pricing. They don't care about paying commission. That is that, and you might have to spend 20 minutes, but that's what it's going to take you to get the listing. Okay. Number 2, focus the presentation on the seller's needs and concern. That's what I was saying before. Okay, that's pretty much what's happening. How you doing? That's pretty much what I was talking before. What is your concern? What is that they need? What are they looking for? I spoke with the Cohens. The Cohens didn't have a problem with the listing agent. The problem had a problem with, that's a couple that she's working with me, and they selling the property. And they're buying more property with us. And they had a problem with the building, they live in Mason Grande, and they had a problem with the agent that sold them the building. So guess what's my conversation? If you would have chosen me as the buyer agent, I would never sell you the property here. Not true. Because when the buyer wants to buy a property in a place and you think it's not right, they want to buy it there.
Pero mira, también, I listened to their needs, and instead of going to another condo, I suggested a single family house. And now, because I listened to their needs,
You listen to the needs.
their needs were not going to be in a condo. They were going to be in a house with a garage and a yard. Punto final. Concretando eso, bueno.
That's right, that's true. You have to
Yeah,
listen.
you have to listen.
The whole presentation with me, and then was, how do I get out of this building? How bad is the building? You have to listen to that, and you have to agree, even if you disagree. What is the more important thing that you have that the seller wants? It's a buyer. So in that presentation, you might want to consider, yeah, you already have a few buyers there. You're not lying. You have a few buyers because you have a database that might be interested in the property. Right or wrong? Okay? Even if you don't call them. But they want you because you have a buyer. You can have the most marketing material, but if they think that you're only going to list the property and wait for all the agents to bring a buyer, they will never list with you. They think that you have a buyer, and when you're not in the industry, that's what you think, okay? So you might want to bring that on the conversation. I might have a few buyers that would be interested in the property. Your team, like say, for example, if you're with my office is the office with more active listing in 33141. Okay, for sale and for rent. You might want to say in that office that because your office has the most listing, what also you have? The more traffic of buyers and the more traffic of agents. Okay? So believe me, that sells the unit. That sells the unit. So you might want to mention that. My office is located in this area. We have the most listing. We. You don't have to talk about I. You're not lying. You don't have the listing. But my team, this is the team, we have it. You might want to say, we have the most. So I have a huge traffic of buyers or agents. So a lot of people, when they come to see the property, even if they don't select yours, we give them the keys so they can see yours as well. Okay? That's what happens. And you tell them the process. When someone's going to see a property in an area, they see 1, 2, or 3. And if they don't choose your property, they're not going to see it. But if they choose one of my company, that most likely will happen, they will see them all. You understand? And you have to show then your marketing and how you not only listing the property on the MLS. Most of the agents that list the property on the MLS. Okay, so you gotta tell them because the friend, whoever they know, is going to put the property on the MLS. So you gotta show, that's why you bring in your marketing material, because they're gonna tell you, what are you gonna do different? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do different. My office, okay, my marketing material, besides putting the property on the MLS, I'm gonna take professional pictures, I'm gonna do a massive mail out, postcard, open house for your property. You understand? Sometimes none of that sells your property, but that makes you different. Okay, at least they see that you're working. You understand? They see that you're doing something, not listing, because you know, remember, 6% when you're putting the property on the MLS, it's not fair. You understand? Especially when they go and they take pictures with their phone. That happens. Okay, and they charge you 6%. When I go to a presentation and I see that the former listing agent has on the pictures, I say, I hope they're giving you a discount, right? That's what I tell them. I said, you're paying 6% and this is the picture they're showing with your property? Automatically that agent is fired. Just like that, by that comment that I made.
I would add to the previous one, like if you are working on 33141, it will give you advantage, but also you can tell them, since I have many listings, I also have a big traffic of buyers.
Oh, mira,
So
maestro,
you can-
you guys didn't hear that.
No, because
I was for a while talking.
you say 33141, but most of them are not on 33141.
Okay.
So you still can say, since I have many listings, I have a big traffic of buyers. And you can use that, you know.
Yeah, of course. You got the more listing, you get the
You
traffic.
get the traffic.
And not only buyers, the traffic of agents. I have agents that come here to me and say, Nival, I want to work with you. What do you have in this building? I have this, I want to sell the property with you.
Yeah.
Right? Right, Joanna?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. We will do professional image, mail out, email campaigns, open house. This is what you have to show them. Okay, that's why you're bringing it with you. That's why you're different. Okay? Very important. You pass the presentation. Okay? You're still in the presentation, but obviously most of the time, the sellers, they're gonna have objections. They're gonna say, listen, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. And then how do you overcome those objections? Most of the times they're impossible to do it, but you have ways around it. Okay? The number one objection that I see is commission. I don't want to pay a commission. No one wants to pay. You know, that's what I tell them. Listen, I don't want to pay a commission either. You don't want to pay. But if you're talking to me right now, it's because you haven't been able to sell the property on your own, right? So this is what happened. You know, you can try to sell the property on your own, and the buyer that is going to come already know that you're saving the commission in real estate. And the only reason is he's going to sell it with you is because you're going to give him the property at a discount price. So most likely you're selling for that price without the commission and with no experience. So you're gonna keep failing and failing and failing with new buyers. Okay? So in order for me to market your property to all the buyers and to all the agents, I need to work, and for that you need to pay a commission. If you wanna try, you can try it on your own. If you can find a buyer that can buy the property and you don't have to pay a commission, amazing. I mean, I don't blame you. I have like 2 cases that the seller was able to find a buyer. It was a tenant. And then you pay a commission, that's fine. You know, they never sign with me, great. Don't get mad at the seller for that. That's human nature. People want to save the money, okay? Number 2, price. I have been told by many listing agents, top producers, not to get a property that is overpriced, okay? If you are new in the market, you get every property.
Doesn't matter the price.
Every property that you use as a marketing material, you get every property. You may end up losing the listing and someone else sell it, that's fine, but you're new to the market. So in any market that I will go new, I will go. But you gotta tell the client, this is why my advice, because I changed that when the top producer of Coral Gable Raleigh said in a conference. He says, I take every listing. Because you don't know when the seller's mind is gonna change.
But what if they tell you a price and you know off the bat that's not gonna sell for that price?
Doesn't matter.
Do you agree on the price with them, or you still
No,
let them
no,
know
no.
like it's not gonna sell
You
for
tell
that
him,
price, but
you
I'll
tell
do
him,
it?
you tell him, this is what I do. You tell him, I understand you want to list for the price, and I don't want you to have the benefit of the doubt. However, that's not the price that I'm recommending. The price recommending is here, but I can try this price. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to be and understand that all my marketing material will now work with the wrong price. So I don't want you to call me in 1 or 2 months and tell me that the property is not selling because of me.
Do you say that?
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
I always say that.
Okay. Because I want you to understand, I don't want you to
Yeah.
come blaming me, because people are not gonna come to see your unit when your unit is 10% or 20% above the market value. If they understand that, no problem. You understand?
Yeah, you take that.
Of course. If they tell me, hey, I'm not selling for them, you take it too. For example, if I see that they own $400,000 and they're trying to sell for 400,000, or they bought it for 400,000 and they're trying to. Sometimes I will still take it because they're willing to lose money. Eventually, they get tired.
Yeah.
You understand? And I will say, listen, you gotta give me a year to try it. I will try to put in a listing agreement for a year, because it's gonna take you about a year for them to get tired. Not for the property to sell, for them to get tired. And sometimes you guess, it happens to me. I had a property overpriced for $100,000. They call me one day and say, listen, something happened in my family, I need to sell fast. They drop it $120,000. They sell it fast. So you never know what's gonna happen. Okay? So that property that you get overpriced, you may not want to go that hard in the money that you invested for marketing.
Okay.
And sometimes they sell overpriced.
Sometimes they sell. It happens very often, but sometimes they sell. Or it happened, for example, with the house. Remember house 7071 Miami Beach, right? She comes to me and say, you know what? I want to live for $1.6 million. And you know, I was following up, talking to it. Eventually, we got an offer of 1.3, 1.35. She didn't want to take it. She ended up selling for 1.275. After a year and a half.
Yeah, it was almost.
They need to be on your side. You understand? They need to be on your side. If they're willing to go on the journey with you, take it. And if you need to take a listing, take it anywhere. But you have to do an open house every week. Okay? Family member who are very close friends has a license.
Oh my
Happens a
God,
lot,
that's
right?
like half of Miami.
Half of Miami. Happens. So this is what you're gonna tell them. This is what you're gonna tell them. I mean, you can list with your family if you want to. However, I am the expert in this area, and I have the traffic of buyer. You understand? No, but if you have a buyer, bring it to my family. The problem is that if I have a buyer, I'm gonna bring it to the people that already signed with me. It is not fair that is Kiara and Anita already signed up with me. I bring a buyer to your property when they already signed up and committed to me. So my priority, and I'm telling like that, my priority is my listings. And if I don't get my listing, I'd rather send a mail out and try to get an off the market property than sell another property, especially something like that, you know? So you tell them very nicely, tell them, listen, if you want to try them. I would recommend you not to. The person doesn't have experience. You know, I live in the area, I'm local, and I'm going to get the traffic for you.
Would you get listings anywhere, or do you focus on this area since you started it?
I will probably get listings everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I will not get overpriced listings everywhere. It all depends. If I have to be in person to show the property. For example, I recently got a listing in Southwest, and I got it with no problem, because the problem is that I was able to put it in a lockbox.
Oh, yeah.
Or you put it
You understand? In a Supra.
Yeah.
So I got a listing like an hour away from here, but yeah, put it in a Supra. I don't have to show it.
Right.
And the house, they sell fast. You understand? I'm getting a listing right now, 2 listings out now in Flamingo. I'm not going to go to Flamingo to show the property, but I can tell the tenant, hey, listen, you hold me showing the properties, I don't have to be here. I'll give you $500 the property show.
Pero están vacant casi siempre.
Vacant casi siempre, pero tú tienes que ver la forma de que how hard it is for you to show the property.
Yeah.
You understand? If you're getting a property far, I would rather just to get someone in the area and do a commission referral. I said, listen, I'm going to give you this listing, you work it, you sell it, and you give me a part. Then you can do that with an agent.
That's what I do now.
Uh-huh.
It's easy.
I don't want to list the property. Bring me a buyer, I will pay you a commission. And I will
Better
tell.
put that in writing.
No, yes, but you don't want that.
No.
Because the problem is, bring me a buyer, pay you a commission, there is no exclusivity with you.
No.
You can keep bringing buyer, and at the end, he sell it to someone else. You understand? Even the agreement, you want to say no. You want to say, listen, I would love to do that, and I will take in consideration. However, you know, I have all the properties that are listed on the market, ready to pay me a commission, very easy to show. You understand? So I need to prioritize those properties. You understand? That's what I usually tell. Some people, they will give it to you eventually. Some people don't, you know? And you're still telling that you're going to try. But the possibilities that happen is very, because what happens, what do? You do a lot of marketing. You spend a lot of money on marketing. You understand? And you cannot sell without doing marketing. and you don't want to spend marketing a unit that you don't have a high possibility of getting paid. No, but I'm going to pay you. Yeah, you're going to pay me, but you can also sell it to someone else and I don't get paid. If you give me exclusivity with the unit, I know that if I work hard, I will get paid.
Yeah, true.
You understand?
But in exclusivity, then who puts it on the MLS?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Ah, okay, okay.
Nobody.
Okay, so it's not listed.
Not listed. You bring in the property. Claudia, da un poquito de agua, please. You bring in the property to the MLS, and you bring in you bring in a buyer pretty much naked.
Yeah.
You know, you bring in a buyer and say he wants it. They probably meet. They want to come in 2 months and 3 months, and they buy it. You don't want to do that.
Okay.
You understand? I have done it in the past. Bring a buyer or two, just to get the listing, so the person knows that I have buyers. And sometimes it's not even a buyer.
Come with me to my listings. That you're interested.
Yeah,
I do that. I do the one.
guys, it happens all the
You
time.
gotta fake it till
Ahí,
you make it,
lo
right?
tuve que hacer.
Again?
En ese edificio que me entregó el LinkedIn, yo lo tuve que hacer. Yo llevé a 2 personas que veía, tú estás interesado en la propiedad.
I have to think about it. This is a good one. I have to think about it because I might have a buyer of my own that is interested in the property. What do you do? ¿Quién me dice qué hacer ahí?
Do you get into, yeah.
You list it, and if they found a buyer, you only charge them.
You learned that from me.
How's that?
Okay, this
And
is
you
important.
take care of the whole thing, the
You
whole
take care of
process.
everything.
all
The
that.
problem is sometimes you have a guy that, for example, tienes a Christian que está vendiendo la propiedad. Y a Alberto llega y le dice, mira, Christian te dice porque se quiere ahorrar la comisión, como cualquier ciudadano. Oye, mira, tengo una propiedad y dicen, mira, compadre, tengo que ver porque tengo un primo. Entonces tiene a Rivaldo aquí que le va a cobrar el 6% y a Alberto que va a ver al primo para ver si quiere comprar la propiedad. So, ¿qué va a hacer Christian? Esperar, ¿no? ¿Y qué pasa cuando espera? Puede entrevistarse con otro agente y lo coge otro. Pues tú quieres, you want to sign the agreement right away. Mami, dame un vasito de agua, por favor. You want to sign the agreement right away. So what do? You tell him, hey, listen, you put on the agreement. If you bring me the buyer, I will sell the property to the buyer. So I will take him to the property, sell it, make sure that he doesn't choose the other property other than that one, okay? And I will give you a 2% commission. I will reduce my commission to 2%. You pay me 2% and I take care of everything. Guys, I think that's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Because even if you, let's say that you sign a 5 months contract or 4 months contract, and you get someone someone contact directly the seller. What do you think the seller is going to do? Give me 2 more months. My contract is going to be over and send myself the commission. But if you have this, he doesn't take the risk. And that's the overcome for that. Happens to me with a rental. What we did today. What we did today. The guy called me and said, "No, my tenants I'm going to renew. Maybe they don't know, but maybe one of the tenants is going to stay. But we don't know yet. I want to get the listing on the contract." I said, "Listen, I put a clause for you that if the tenant they want to stay, I only charge, I reduce my commission to $600. He's signing today.
Yep.
He's signing today. You have to push it, okay? Remember, it's about how many properties can you sell, not how much money you can make out of each property. Questions about that? Following up afterwards. This is very important, okay? We're gonna hear what you're
Lo que se fatal.
I me too.
Oh,
I fucking
hey.
hate follow-ups. Like, you didn't call me? Okay, whatever.
Me dejaste visto, okay.
Sometimes
You're lost.
You're lost.
I spent 2 or 3 years following up.
Oh my god.
I can show you listings that I spent 2 or 3 years following up.
No, I've seen listings and he puts a note. He's like, you know what? She's fucking crazy. She wants 400. She's never gonna get
Eventually
400.
you will learn.
2 years down the line. Can I sell it for 320?
Yeah, yeah. Eventually you'll learn, but you have to follow. You have to have a CRM always, so you can put the follow up for the sellers. So following up with an email after the presentation is very important. And after you finish the presentation, you send an email.
Like a thank you email?
Thank you. Yeah.
That's
Hey, thank you for the opportunity. Or text message. Hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Regarding the property. You send any additional documentation. Hey, can you put me down on writing? Because let's say, for example, let me give you an example. You don't come with this to the presentation. Huh? You don't come come with this to the presentation, because you know, you don't want it. you
Now,
don't
something
want-
that came up. during
Something
the
that came out in the
conversation.
presentation, you understand? You don't come with this, but, you know, they say, hey, Nivaldo, you know, make the changes and send it to me by email. You understand? I wanna get this done, I wanna sell the property. You wanna get them hot,
When they're hot.
okay? Phone call, text, the following day, you gotta send a phone call with text message. But you don't wanna talk about the same thing that they talk. Couple of days. So, you know what, hey, I already talked to a couple of my colleagues, a couple of my buyers, they might be interested in the property, I wanted to see how we're doing with the paperwork. It's not to say, hey, you think about it?
Yeah, like, you're too pushy.
He said,
but-
yes, yeah. Hey, I have a couple of people, you know, I've been talking to a couple of my sellers about the property. Have you made a decision? No, we're still thinking about it. Okay, let me know, I have them ready. Okay,
How often should you do follow-ups? Like,
I get it.
okay.
Then, if the property is not listed within 2 weeks, you set up a search for the unit. Okay, so you do a search for the unit, so you wanna make sure that if the property gets listed, so you don't keep following up, you already know.
You already know, yeah. you
Okay, so you do a search for the unit, okay, or the property. Hey, any new property with this address, with the first address, first number of the house, you put it, it comes out, you will know.
Yeah.
Okay? What happens? If you think about it, oh, that's what I told you here before, okay? Okay, aquí me faltó algo. Aquí me faltó algo, Jimena.
¿Qué pasó?
After 2 weeks, if the property hasn't been listed, okay, besides setting the search there automatically, something that I can put there, I will add them to a follow-up email and to a follow-up mail-out campaign.
Ah,
Follow-
en el papel sí está.
Follow up mail,
Invite
emails,
them personally by email, text, mail.
No, that's something that's,
Ah.
that's something that.
emails con los reportes y la.
Whatever you want to
put
say,
it in, like, your database,
in your
put that
database, but
together.
you gotta have a campaign ready, you know,
And see if they're opening and call them.
and then call them, because you wanna keep them warm. Right now they want, they're thinking about selling, but you wanna do it by email and you wanna do it by mail. Because by email, sometimes people don't subscribe, but by mail, they don't subscribe. Like, for example,
Okay, give my shoes back.
I have a mail out follow-up campaign that I have it set up, including the magazine, it's set up like 7 letters that I send you every 10 days. So I interviewed with Christian. Christian hasn't sold the property yet, but he's thinking about it. So after 2 weeks, he hasn't listed the property. I added to my follow-up email. He will get an email every week about articles important to him on how to sell the property. But he also will get this one,
A magazine.
magazine, and he keeps getting a letter from me on the mail every 10 days. He may not choose you.
So he doesn't forget you.
He doesn't forget you because he's probably lost your number, lost who given the information, but he sees your pictures and he's gonna remember that this guy interviews with me and he keeps sending me information. Not guarantee you the listing, but guarantee you that when he thinks about selling again, he's gonna call you. Okay?
Well, that happened to me is, I do the listing presentation on one client, he decided to sell it with another agent because they have more, like a more experience, the other agent have more experience. But then, like in 6 months, he called me and gave me a phone number for a friend to sell the property of the friend.
Wow.
Say, I recommend you to my friend, he already told me, look, all my property are handled with this realtor, but
You
when
can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
But you don't want to close doors. You don't want to close doors because what happens is you want to stay around because if something goes wrong with that agent, okay,
You're next.
you're next. I mean, you talk to people. Sometimes people call me and they say, "Oh, Nivaldo, and I know they're listed with someone else. And I know they're doing business with someone else. What am I going to do? Hang up the phone?" I said, "No, I don't talk to you because you're working with Christian." No, you have any question? I have a question for you. You understand? And you don't have to talk bad about him or the agent. Now he calls you to talk bad about Christian and say, "Oh yeah, I understand." You understand? But you don't have to talk. But he calls you about asking your opinion about the market. Like for example, one of the board members in Acoya, he leases his property every year for rent with the same guy, for respect. But every person that asking about Acoya about buying, selling, or renting a unit, he refers them to me. He's keeping doors open for the guy. I think Joanna, I think she's here for the. But that, and you have to respect that.
Yes.
It's a people have an agent, they do have an agent. Doesn't mean you're gonna close the door. But you gotta keep the doors open because sometimes that might go wrong, and they're gonna call you. And since you're doing that, and Claudia talked to me because she wanted to sell the property and she hasn't sold it, why don't I call Claudia and I say, Claudia, you know, I'm having an open house this coming week. You want to pass by? You know, we're doing a seminar this week. Do you want to pass by? Okay, you can call her to invite her to an open house, and she actually see what you're doing. You understand?
Yeah.
Any questions about that, guy?
Oh, well, it's not about that. It never happened like you do the listing presentation, and the guy receive it, and they have the realtor because they have a friend, it's a realtor. One time, the realtor called me. I do the listing presentation and everything, and a couple weeks, the realtor that listing the property, they call me and they tell me, you can continue to call my client because it's my client. And I say, why? I never call you client. I send the email with all the MLS property in Weston, so it's not my fault he called me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you call my client, I got to report you in the.
The law of the code of ethics works the following day, and I'm gonna go. In the próximo, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I always get a little confused with
But the
this.
code of
Like, can
ethics.
I call them? Can I
Mira,
not? Like,
no. If I'm the listing agent for Kiara's property, okay, Alberto, nobody can call Kiara regarding the listing.
What if I have a, well, yeah.
I don't know. If you want to marry Kiara, you can call Kiara. It doesn't have nothing to do with the listing. If you want to invite Kiara to an open house, you can call her and invite her to an open house. If you want to tell Kiara that I'm selling this other property, you can call Kiara. Hey, I have this property for sale. Do you know anybody that wants to buy it? You can do that. Now, you cannot call
So
her
you
to
can
sell.
establish contact, but not about the listing.
No, you cannot tell her, hey, how you doing with the sales of your property? You
Yeah.
cannot do that.
Okay, gotcha.
Or now, she can call you and ask you why my property is not selling. And right there you can talk.
And you can talk about the other person, right? The other agent. You
Why
can
not
do your
property?
search
You can
and
say
you
your search.
okay.
Okay.
So it goes back to the same thing.
If that agent decided to report you, how are you gonna show that he was the one who called you and you didn't call
Well, if that
him?
person
And
that,
while you talk
well,
and-
if the person is actually very easy. You got there, you go to the bill, the FBO, the AT&T bill, you know, and that day you print out the bill, you see that the call came from them. And you show it to them and say, listen, he called me, not you.
wanna be petty?
And I have agent calling me. I have agent calling me complaining. I said, listen, your client, because the client doesn't say,
I called them, yeah.
I said, no, your client called me. And your client is calling me to ask me for buyer to bring in buyers. And I told your client that I'm not bringing you a buyer because I only bring buyers for my listing. You understand? And then they change the whole thing around. Okay? But that is very important. If they call you, you
Yeah,
can
they
do whatever you want.
They called me. The other realtor, the realtor that.
No, but if the client call you,
Yeah, the client only called me like a couple of times, but I
but he
continue.
did call you.
But I continue to send in my emails.
Yeah, you're sending your
I don't
emails.
remove it from my database. I continue to send all the emails.
And listen, on your emails, this is something that you have to add in all your emails. Let me get there, because this is, I'm gonna talk to someone that I'm gonna add in. I'm gonna tell you something that I'm gonna add in all my. That you have to add in all your emails and all your marketing material. Okay. This is the follow-up mail out, the way it looks. You know, email. You know, first email. It's actually I do actually like take like 12. I have a mail out say 12 times you must follow and selling your property. Are you motivated to sell? Should you hire an agent? And they're getting those emails with a video talking to me about the properties every week. Okay? This is the follow-up mail out. In my CRM, I have it, and every 10 days this move over here until they get to the finish line.
Okay, question. When you're a new agent, I mean, obviously you're already established, you can do all the magazines and the marketing and all that. But when you're new, like, what would you do first? Like, would you spend money on Mela, or would you focus on like an email campaign?
I would get one. I would say all of streams of income, all of streams, lines of leads works. As long as you do it consistently. You cannot do emails, mail out, on Facebook. You have to do one, and you have to do it consistent. When you control that one, then you move into the follow-up.
Okay.
You understand?
I don't have the magazine, but I print it in regular paper.
You
You understand? You
I
don't
have
the
the
magazine.
seller buyer and a seller guy and buyer guy.
Maybe you know a place. Maybe you start calling Aspires. Aspire works.
Yeah.
I have met people that works with Aspire. Even in Orlando, many people disagree. I disagree. I don't do aspires. But there's people that no problem. They sit down there and they do aspire and they have listings. And they don't spend one money on marketing. You understand? They don't spend one money on marketing. It works. And there's people that knocks doors. But there's people that do it, and it works for them. You understand? But do one,
Yeah.
and I can guide you on that. But do one. The one that I told you haven't started yet.
Yeah.
You know, start with that one.
¿Con cuál?
Eh?
The easy one is the mail.
She's getting new on the sales. She's getting new on the sales. So I started listening and start advertising all the properties that we have for sale. So you can start getting some experience.
Everything.
You understand? Because it's very hard to go to a listing presentation and you never seen it has its contract.
Yeah.
You understand? You gotta have some knowledge or idea, okay?
Yo fui como a 5 contigo de listing presentation, and that's why I learned that everything.
Okay. So you do good and you learn, you understand? And don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna go to the first one and you're gonna be nervous. It happens to me, it happens to anybody. But eventually you're gonna start getting the knowledge and getting confident about that.
You have the knowledge already.
You have a lot of knowledge.
She has everything.
More than
right?
probably other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the follow mail out. This is what I do. Okay, I do that one for after if they haven't listed.
They haven't listed
within 2 weeks.
Okay.
You still have a search, so you know what happens. Then, what if they list with someone else? This is when it gets tricky. Okay, and this is the what happens when you go to a listing and you see that they list with someone else,
Yeah, well, like the 2 weeks went by and they listed with somebody else. You try
or,
it.
or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
or 4. You see the property. How do you know? Because you set up the search. You will be the first one to know. And the first thing, guys, it's a list with someone else. First thing you have to do is you have to send an email to the seller congratulating them for the new listing and hoping for the best for them and hoping they're able to find a buyer very soon. I know it's hard to do that, but you have to do it, okay? Once you know property system for another agent, right away you send a text or an email. And I'm gonna show you an example of the one that I sent, okay? You have to let them know. Why? Because you gotta keep the doors open.
Yeah.
You understand? You gotta let them know because sometimes the seller, even if you don't say nothing bad to them, the seller thinks that you're mad at them. Inside, you're mad at them because you choose someone else. You have to find a way to let them know that. It's okay. Here for business, it's like you work with AT&T and then for with Verizon and then with, it's okay. AT&T is not gonna mad at you. Welcome back anytime. But you have to let them know that you're not mad. Okay? And I'm gonna send you an example of an email. Let me show it to you because this part is very important. Good morning. I know that you have already listed the property for sale, and I would like to congratulate you. Thank you for the opportunity and the interview. I wish you the best, and I hope you are able to sell very soon. However, if you have any questions or concerns in the near future regarding the selling of your property, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are always here to help. Text message or email.
Yeah.
Very important. Most of the time, believe it or not, I get a response to that email. Most of the time. And I got many listings because I send that email.
Yeah.
They say, Nivaldo, thank you, we appreciate it, we're gonna try with this person for 6 months, and if now we give it to you. But only agent that I can count with these hands in the whole Florida do that if they lose a listing. Remember, you want a bit difference. Let me see. Second thing. Invite them personally. Remember, you cannot talk about the property. Christian, I have this property over here at the Grandview Palace on Treasure Island. If you want to come see her, I'm going to be here hosting an open house next week. You got the call. Remember, Christian already listed with Finot. If Finot hasn't done anything for his property, and this guy is doing a lot of things for other properties, okay? By text, by email, to open house, new listings, you can send it, hey, I want you to be the first one to know that this listing came on the market for sale. You're not violating the code of ethics. You're not
It's like a
talking.
broad message, yeah, for like, because you're sending that to a bunch of people.
And you can send it to him.
It's very
Anita,
simple.
I want to marry you. I have nothing to do with the property. You understand?
Yeah.
Anita, I want to sell you my car. It got nothing to do with the property. You know? Anita, how is the sale of the property doing? That's the problem. You understand? Unless you, Anita, I want to sell you my car. You know what? I don't want to buy a car right now because I want to know why my property is not selling. I have no problem. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for, believe it or not. To avoid violating the code of ethics, never mention the subject property unless they do.
So they have to bring it up first.
Bring it up. And they will. They will. They will. It happens. It happens. Hey, I send you a magazine. How you doing? I send you a magazine. I want to make sure that you receive it. Oh yeah, thank you, Rivaldo.
How is the market doing?
How is the market doing? The market is doing great. You know, I'm selling a lot of property. My God, my property is not selling. And put them in the same follow-up for email and mail that I told you before. You have to put them after 4 months.
After 4 months.
Why?
Wait, what do you mean? Put the perspective.
Remember I told you, put the clients in a mail follow-up after 2 weeks when they haven't listed.
Okay.
If they list with someone else, then you put it in the same mail and follow-up after 4 months.
After 4 months.
Why? Because most of the listing they list between 6
3 to 6 months.
to a year. So in 4 months, what happens is the listing is about to expire. And once it expires, it's going to get a lot of calls. So most likely, before the listing expires, you get a phone call.
Perfect.
The same one that you send every 10 days that I was telling you, the magazine and everything, you get a phone call. But it's very important that in every property you sell, in every listing, in every marketing material that you say email and mail, you have to have a disclaimer.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm going to show you. Eh?
I copy yours.
I think everybody
We
else
all
is
will.
Okay. We are an independent operator company, and we are not directly affiliated with the building or area mentioned above, the card and the email.
Yeah.
The information here is delivered from various sources that might include but not limited to public records, keep cover matters, and multiple service listings. Please do not make any assumption or decision based on the information without seeking professional advice. If your property is currently listed with a realtor, please disregard this notice. It is not our intention to solicit offering to other brokers.
That last part is like the killer.
Yeah.
Huh?
The one you
Like
were talking about.
Marcelis.
Okay? Why? Because it's listed with someone else.
Can you send it to us?
Yeah, of course.
It is on the folder. It should be on the folder.
is?
In the South Florida.
Yeah, down the folder.
Yeah.
Folder three.
We have a disclaimer.
You have this disclaimer. Entonces, that's what you have. Okay? So,
Yo me lo Yo lo pongo en todo.
so this is very important, guys, because that disclaimer is going to keep you and allow you to keep sending postcards.
And keep you out of trouble.
And it keep you out of trouble. Well, I have a disclaimer. This is information that I'm selling.
Yeah.
But of course, you cannot send a disclaimer and say, list with me right now, and I give you this. You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But
that's what I say to the other broker, to the other realtor. I say, look, all the material I send it to him is an MLS material. I don't.
Sí, sí, sí.
Yeah.
I just send in where it's sold, where it's in new in the
Even if
area.
you send a coupon,
Exacto.
you're
If you
telling
send
me
that
that if
coupon
your
amount,
property is currently listed, disregard this information.
Look
So
at my
don't
coupon.
see the coupon and that's
Yes,
it.
my coupon says this. It says it there.
So even if you're sending una promoción, lo dice.
Oh, I the property. Okay.
It says it right there. And this coupon is just to generate a call.
That's it.
You understand? If you give me 20 listings and I only make 2%, why not? I'll take it.
Take it to-
You know? That's what happens. Right or wrong?
That's right.
Okay?
Percent is better than 0%.
2% is better than zero. You get into you doing marketing to get more
International, you
business.
get more business from that one.
Get more business. That's the way it is, guys. You know? And I think this is stuck. Ah, that's what I told you to show you before. Yeah. Se acabó. Any questions, guys?